Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in today's video I'm just going to be going through some old photos. So they are from about 3 years ago now, but it was from a time when I went to Amsterdam. It was part of a uni trip. It was for sort of how to be more sustainable in sort of like travel. So like how you sort of travel around different cities and stuff like that. But I just thought I'd go through like the pictures that I did take. So this is just one that I found. It was taken at a restaurant. We were looking around like different places. This is just round by the hostel that I was staying in. Again, this is another one. This was inside of the hostel. There was quite a lot of like artwork, which was quite pretty. This is just obviously they have a lot of bikes in Amsterdam. A lot of them they like to decorate in their own way. This was on the ferry, so there was like another ferry that was there. This is the eye museum. I didn't actually go inside, but I did sort of walk around near there and just like have a sort of look around near my hostel. I did go to an underground, like it was like a gaming bar, so they had like Beat Saber and stuff like that, but I don't think I actually have any of the photos of that, but that was quite cool to go to. And this was inside of the hostel, so obviously there's a little arcade machine, but this is basically just what it looked like inside. This is just another part of what the hostel looked like, so there's like a pool table, there's like little seating area. This was inside of another area. This was where we would have like our meetings for the stuff to do with like the uni trip, because obviously most of it was we had an itinerary that we had to follow, and then in the evenings we could kind of do what we wanted. This was something that I found on our walk while we were out. I just thought it was quite nice. This is just our map. This was obviously I went from London St Pancras to Amsterdam. Says the date that we went and like the time that we were departing. This is just the side of the arcade machine. I thought it was quite cool, so I decided to take a photo. This is just some artwork that was in the hostel. On the ferry, I just took a photo of another sort of boat. This was sort of, I'd gone for a little walk with everyone else as a group and just took a photo. This is another part of the hostel. And this is near the hostel, just sort of down the road, like kind of around the corner a little bit. And this was the hostel that I ended up staying in. Obviously, it was part of a uni trip. So obviously, uni sort of, we paid like bits for like what we were supposed to pay, but this is just where we ended up staying. It wasn't actually too bad. You did have to share with at least 3 or 4 other people in one room, but it was quite a nice sort of experience anyway. This was in the downstairs part of the hostel. I went walking around, so there's quite a lot of artwork in different places. This was outside of the hostel. There was like little parts across the road, and we could see the sort of ferry sort of station across the road if you wanted to go into the sort of like city centre part. This was another map that I took a photo of. This was some more little bikes that have got flowers on. This was just something that I took a photo of. I don't really understand what it was, but I just thought it was interesting. Some flowers. This was again in the hostel. They had this little art wall. That was you could swing off the top of it. Like there's little swings. I don't know if you can see them, but I never actually did it, but I did look into it. That is where the like ferry station was, so what we could see across the road from our hostel. This was just in the bridge that I took it. This was the room that I ended up staying in, so you just had like a little table. This door was like a bathroom and like a sort of toilet, so it was like shower and toilet in one. And then we had obviously like bunk beds kind of thing. So this was basically where we would stay when we weren't doing like sort of bits with the group, if you wanted to just go and sit in your room and like obviously in the evenings. This was the downstairs part of the hostel, so this is where we would go for like breakfast. You would walk down those stairs, and then there was like a seating area down there. And this was the supermarket that was local to the hostel. It was basically round the corner. There was like a little college, and then there was this. So this is where we would go if we wanted anything like snack-wise, food-wise that wasn't included in the trip, because we only had breakfast and our evening meal was included. Like lunch and stuff like that we had to pay for ourselves. But I went there quite a few times in the mornings to get a few snacks that I would just leave in my room. This is just another bike. I think it might be the same one I've already shown. Just some more images of the view. This was outside of the hostel window, so there was quite a nice like sort of canal just outside, which was quite nice. Another part, this was Amsterdam Central sort of station, so this is what we would see if we went into the sort of central area. I did go to Madame Tussauds as well while I was there, and I did go to a couple of the museums, but I did take photos of Madame Tussauds, but I don't think I downloaded them. There was this like air hockey thing in the hostel. Some more photos of the view. This is just some videos that I took. So this was on the train. This one was the view outside of the hostel, what you could kind of see. This is another one of just a view that I was on at the time. This is on the ferry, so I was just videoing other like boats. And then yeah, again, this one was on the ferry going across to basically the sort of central part of Amsterdam, like going into like the city centre where like Madame Tussauds and all that is. This was another video again of my view. I would set out most mornings because we would have time before we would go off to do our like activities. But yeah, that's sort of some of the photos from Amsterdam, and I'll see you in my next video.